All right, everybody, we're here today to talk about my favorite motion picture actor of all times. Let's kick it. Okay, as you guessed by the name on the title, that is Mr. Kurt Rusell. He is one of those guys that could nail every genre of acting every time he did it. I mean, he was phenomenal in comedies, he was phenomenal in dramas, he was phenomenal in actions, he was phenomenal in westerns, he was phenomenal in suspense, you name it. He could do it. He could do it all convincingly. He could make it look easy. He was a true chameleon. He could cover every base, could cover every style. Kurt Rusell was the shit. Now, there's a lot of other actors I love too, man. I love fucking Clint Eastwood and fucking Stallone and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to diversity and it comes to range, nobody nailed it like Kurt Rusell. Now, probably the only other guy who's come along I think that can really come into the ballpark is a guy like Ralph Fiennes. He can do sinister or jovial or lighthearted or whimsical, and he can cover a lot of bases too. But when it comes to track record, when it comes to longevity, and when it comes to every aspect of it, Kurt Rusell to me is the undisputed champion. And today we're going to look at his history of motion pictures. Now, he's been in a million movies, so I cannot spend a lot of time on all of them. I'm just going to fly through everything really, really quick and why you should take a look at it and why you should check it out. Right off the get-go, I'm going to leave out everything that has to do with his Disney years when he was a kid. I mean, you know, we all know he was in the Disney flicks, the Sneakers, and all the, whatever the hell it was. And we all know that he was in some other motion pictures that might have had success, but I didn't think were that great, whether it was like Tango and Cash or Tequila Sunrise or The Poseidon Adventure. I'm leaving some of those out, and I'm trying to hit more of the highlights that I thought were just better motion pictures. So the kid movies I'm leaving out, and a couple movies that I just were like, yeah, it just didn't really work for me that much, I'm leaving out. But the rest of them, I'm hitting, I'm flying, we're moving, let's go. Okay, first up from 1977 was the first collaboration ever between Kurt Rusell and my man, the man, John Carpenter. When John Carpenter directed the TV motion picture Elvis, let's face it, man, Kurt Rusell probably did one of the best best Elvis impersonations ever. I mean, he had that thing spot on. And the thing that John Carpenter said about Kurt Rusell was that he's an impersonator. He can impersonate anything that he sees to the T. So becoming Elvis for him wasn't that big of a deal. He nailed it. He kind of semi-did it again later in another movie we'll touch later, you know, called 3,000 Miles of Graceland. But Elvis, Kurt Rusell, his launch point out the gate as kind of a more adult actor, he nailed it. Great performance, great directing by John Carpenter. Let's keep going. Okay, this is one of my favorite motion pictures of all time. I kid you not. One of the greatest comedies ever made. Used Cars, 1980. He played Rudy Russo. If there was ever a motion picture, that's going to get you laughing your ass off, it is Used Cars. And his portrayal of the sleazy, fast-talking, whatever you want to call it, Rudy Russo was probably one of the funniest things you will ever see. You know, Graham Garrett, he was in there, he was doing his thing. Hell, you had Lenny and Squiggy from Laverne and Shirley in the thing. The whole cast was great, the movie was great. I'm going to cover it someday. Used Cars, check it out, don't miss it for any goddamn reason. Okay, now this is the role that he might be most iconically remembered as. 1981's Escape from New York, Snake Plissken. His second movie with John Carpenter. Listen, man, if you don't know Escape from New York, then I don't even know why the hell you're on this channel, to be brutally honest. One of my favorite movies of all time, easily top 10, easily top 10. I love Escape from New York, and his portrayal as the gritty, angry, ex-patriotic Snake Plissken is one of the best things you'll ever see. Ironically, he said that he was really just channeling Clint Eastwood. He just kind of, if you watch it later, you can see it. He talks like Clint Eastwood. He talks in that low, gravelly, blah, blah, blah type of voice. The movie is spot on, the acting is spot on, he is spot on, and he will forever be Snake Plissken. And by the way, forget Escape from LA. That thing was a piece of shit. Anyway, let's keep going. Alright, third in line with his John Carpenter collaborative series is the incredible, stupendous, amazing 1982's The Thing. Listen, man, it caught a lot of crap when it first came out. It was violent, and it was dark, and it was disturbing. It came out the same year as E.T., and people weren't ready for it. But The Thing has now been since re-looked at, and is considered one of the greatest horror motion pictures of all time. And him playing McReady, this kind of like, just almost disassociated, like, you know, he doesn't really give a shit about anything type of guy who winds up becoming the forefront leader. He's a helicopter pilot who becomes the leader of this group of dudes, kind of without even wanting to, is just spot on, accurate, and awesome. You know what I mean? From the moment you see him say "lying bitch" and dump the ice into the fucking chess wizard machine, that's all you need to know. McReady, The Thing, Russell, 82, watch it, no excuse, just do it. Okay, 1983, he was in a movie called Silkwood with Meryl Streep and Cher and all that other kind of stuff. And it was a true story of, Karen Silkwood, who worked at this plant and, radiation, whatever. That's a whole different issue. But it was a dramatic motion picture where he went from playing these tough guys like he had in his last couple movies to playing this more sensitive, boyfriend, the caring, relaxed, kind of like guy next door type of role. And he nailed it, as he always does, flawlessly. You're just like, that's the same guy that was Snake Plissken? Yeah, that's the same guy that was Snake Plissken. That's the same guy that was the funny as hell Rudy Russo? That's the same guy. Nails it, knocks it out the park. Kurt Rusell, once again, bam! Okay, playing Lucky Lockhart. He was in Swing Shift, the first movie that introduced him and Goldie Hawn together. Actually, there was another movie back when they were like little kids, but that, I'm not going to count that. Or he was a kid and she was kind of older, but whatever. This was a really, really, really fun, different movie for him. It was kind of like a 1940s. You felt like you were watching something from the 1940s during the war era, because that's basically what it was. And there was dancing and all this other kind of crap, and you're like, my God, he's good in this too. Check it out. Not the greatest motion picture of his career by any stretch of the imagination. Not the best thing he's ever done. Not the best movie he's ever been in. But fun, entertaining, is what it is. Worth a look. Go check it out. Okay, here is a criminally underlooked motion picture from 1985. Playing Malcolm Anderson in The Mean Season. This motion picture is awesome from top to bottom. Richard Jordan, God bless his soul, who's long since left us behind, did a phenomenal job in this motion picture. Kurt Rusell plays a newspaper reporter who's being contacted by a serial killer. It's suspenseful. It's drama-ridden. He's not a tough guy in it by any stretch of the imagination. He's a glasses-wearing reporter who probably couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag. But this motion picture delivers on all the goods, all the time. Really, really good. You gotta watch The Mean Season. It's one of those motion pictures where, like, a lot of people don't talk about it like they should, and they don't remember it like they should. But it was a gem, it was classic, and always worth the look. The Mean Season. Check it out. Okay, 1986. He played Reno Hightower in The Best of Times with Robin Williams. This movie is just fun. It's about a bunch of guys slowly going into their middle age. Somehow, I don't want to give too much away, but they wind up replaying their high school football legendary game, again, much later in life. The comic bond that works so well in this motion picture is basically Robin Williams and Kurt Rusell. They just carry this whole motion picture. Everybody else does a good job too, don't get me wrong. The actors all did their thing. But these guys made this motion picture work. It's a small film. It's just a little hometown film. It's nothing over the top, nothing crazy, but it's definitely worth a watch. Definitely a good feeling movie, and you will definitely like it by the time you walk. I don't know if anybody who's ever not liked The Best of Times. I just don't. I don't think I've ever met them. If they're out there, I don't know where they are. But, whew, okay, if it wasn't for Snake Plissken, this would probably be his most iconic role. 1986, Jack Burton, Big Trouble in Little China. This motion picture is just fun. There is a cult following to this motion picture that is like massive. My son, who's 26 years old, this is his favorite motion picture of all time. He will watch it over and over again. We probably know all the lines, know every little inside and out joke. Big Trouble in Little China is one of the great motion pictures. I'm not going to say it's criminally overlooked because it's got such a crazy cult following that you cannot ignore it by any stretch of the imagination. They're trying to remake it from what I understand. I think The Rock is supposed to be in it. To me, that's goddamn sacrilegious. You just leave this motion picture alone. It's legendary. It's amazing. Big Trouble in Little China. If you haven't seen it by some strange thing, like you're living on another planet for the last 40 fucking years, I don't know. But check out Big Trouble in Little China. He is phenomenal in it. The motion picture is phenomenal in it. It's another one of his Carpenter collaborations. It's amazing. Big Trouble in Little China. You got to see it. Okay, playing Dean Prophet in 1987, he was in Overboard again with Goldie Hawn. This is probably a more fun, more revered, more liked movie with the two of them, more than Swing Shift was. Overboard has become one of those motion pictures. If you turn on TBS or some shit, it's going to be in rotation all the time. They remade it a couple years ago. That was, or years ago, whatever. It was a piece of shit, by the way. Skip that. This one was fun, it was entertaining, it was everything that it promised to be. The chemistry was there between Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. It was a good time had by all. Fun, innocent, small little movie that was just something you walk away from feeling good. Overboard, check it out. Let's keep going. Okay, 1991's Backdraft. Listen, this was one of those big budget spectacle movies. We all know it. There was flames everywhere. There was buildings burning everywhere. You had a bunch of people in the movie that were good stars and everything like that. You've heard about enough. I don't need to talk about it a lot. But go check out Backdraft. If you want a movie about buildings and firefighters and shit hitting the fan, Backdraft is a great motion picture, fun to watch, entertaining. Is it completely accurate in all aspects of stuff? No, because there never seems to be any smoke when there's fire in these movies. But whatever. Backdraft, great motion picture. Check it out. Does a great job as usual. Let's keep going. Okay, here's another classic that everybody's going to love. 1992's Captain Ron. Him, Martin Short, pirate outfit, sailing the seas. Funny as hell. Entertaining. Another one of those motion pictures that just everybody kind of likes. You know what I mean? I don't think of anybody that doesn't like Captain Ron. It's just one of those. It's just one of those things. It's like it reminds you of like movies like Steve Martin would make or something like that. Like everybody likes The Jerk. You know what I mean? Or everybody likes, oh man, what the hell is the name of that movie with the long nose and Daryl Hannah? Whatever. Everybody likes that. Everybody likes Captain Ron. Whatever. You got to watch Captain Ron. Entertaining, fun, goofy, cool. It's just awesome. I mean, just go watch Captain Ron. Anyway, 1993, he played Wyatt Earp in Tombstone. Now listen, for me, Westerns begin and end with Clint Eastwood. That's just the way I am. I've never been into the John Wayne flicks that much. I've never been into a lot of them, except for like, you know, the Yul Brynner type shit was awesome too, with the Magnificent Seven and everything like that, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to Westerns, I've always been a Clint Eastwood guy, period. And in this motion picture, you actually have a really good Western made in modern times, or at least in the 90s. And it was well done. Everybody carried their weight. Everybody did a good job. And of course, Kurt Russell, as always, did a good job. So check out Tombstone. It's enjoyable. It's a really good cowboy movie for all intents and purposes. But check it out. It's a movie that's been made over and over and over again for all intents and purposes, but still worth a watch. Okay, 1994. Jack O'Halloran, Stargate. That was a big blockbuster movie, let's face it. Was it one of my favorite movies of all time? No, I was never a big Stargate fan. I just thought it was overblown and a little bit cheesy. But because of the magnitude of it, I thought it had to go into one that I mentioned. Stargate was a good motion picture. I didn't enjoy it as much as some other people did. I didn't think it was the bomb as some other people did. But it was big. It was a spectacle. A lot of people enjoyed it. Go check it out. Worth a look. It's not like you're going to be upset after you see it, but it is what it is. Stargate, give it a shot. Okay, I put this on here even though it's a movie I hate. I know what you're thinking. Why would you have this here over movies that you probably even liked more? Shit, I like Tango and Cash more than this. But this was the greatest dud for me in his career and in the career of John Carpenter. I'm sorry, Escape from L.A. was the biggest letdown ever. I am a John Carpenter fanatic. I love John Carpenter. I love all of his movies up until like the early 90s. I just thought everything he did from like Assault up into In the Mouth of Madness was just amazing and phenomenal. After that, it got kind of sketchy, and the biggest example of that is Escape from L.A., a motion picture that was basically just retelling Escape from New York, but in a more goofy, make-believe fashion, and I thought it lampooned Snake Plissken more than making him like the cool character that we all knew and loved. I put it on this list because I know some people that were younger who didn't know Escape from New York as well, like, oh, I like Escape from L.A., I hate Escape from L.A., to be brutally honest, but I threw it on here just for the people that get a kick out of it or think that it's something to look at. Anyway, he was back, Snake Plissken. Sadly, they never made another one. If they continued down this path, I'm glad they didn't. Whatever. Okay, 1996, playing an intelligence agent. How the hell do you say that? He was an Executive Decision. Now, that's another movie that was really, really good. Really, really suspenseful. And where do you get to see Steven Seagal die in the beginning of a motion picture? It was worth it just for that. But it was one of those kind of motion pictures that you're going to enjoy, you're going to like. It was anything that everybody else was putting out today to a degree. It was like any of the, you know, the Jack Ryan type movies or any of that kind of shit. It was a good motion picture, worth the look, worth the watch. Kurt Russell is really good in it again. He's put in a tough guy situation, but he's not a tough guy, but he rises to the occasion. That kind of thing. Good movie, worth a watch. Entertaining. If you like any of those movies, you know, those Tom Clancy type flicks, there you go. Anyway, Let's keep going. I got so many to cover. Oh, here's a criminally overlooked one from 1997. Breakdown. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you gotta check this out. Man gets his wife stolen from him after a breakdown on the road. Kurt Rusell goes looking for him. But not a tough Kurt Rusell, just Kurt Rusell, the guy from the street looking for his wife. Really, really good motion picture. Kind of criminally forgotten to a degree. You know what I mean? Some people remember it more than others. But Breakdown is a really, really, really top-level motion picture from him. Was it a big success to some of his other stuff? Nah, probably not. But solid motion picture, solid suspense, solid drama, well put together, entertaining. Don't forget it. Don't overlook it. Breakdown. Okay, 1998's Soldier, playing Todd. There's connections in this motion picture that I don't want to get too deep into, but it's kind of strangely connected, slightly off-worldly to Blade Runner-y, by the writing staff-y, that kind of a thing. But this was the last motion picture where Kurt Rusell said, I'm going to get in crazy shape, I'm going to try to be the action star, and I'm going to be the macho guy type thing. He said it almost killed him because he was getting too old for the shit and working out that hard and trying to put himself in that kind of physical condition. But he pulled it off in this great motion picture about these genetically designed soldiers that were now being outdated, phased out, and thrown onto the scrap heap. It's a good action movie. Is it one of his best? No. Is it watchable? Oh, yes, it is. Is it entertaining? Sure it is. It's one of those motion pictures you're like, okay, I watched it, it was cool. For me, I watch it and I'm kind of like, kind of like when you watch Alien 3, you're like, it was what it was. It wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. Whatever. But easily worth a watch. If it comes on TV or it's on your Netflix or Prime or whatever the hell you stream, or if you own it in a DVD thing or you see it in a $3.99 bin, definitely grab it. Worth a watch. Okay, 2001, playing Michael Zane. 3,000 Miles to Graceland. This was an entertaining movie. Yes, it was crazy. Yes, it was over the top. Yes, it was silly. Yes, it was him, and it was Kevin Costner, and it was Courtney Cox, and it was a whole bunch of people in it playing a bunch of Elvises that were robbing shit. Entertaining for what it was. It was his second time wearing an Elvis outfit, or kind of, sort of, whatever. But it was an entertaining movie. You have an all-star cast in it. It was well directed. It was well done. Is it the most logical movie of all times? No, but it's definitely worth checking out. You like Kurt Rusell, you like him in this. Just the way it goes. Okay, 2004's Miracle. Replayed Herb Brooks about the 1980 hockey team. Listen, man, by now Kurt Russell's getting a little bit older. He's the elder statesman kind of guy in the movie. He's the elder dude. He's not going to be Snake Plissken anymore, or probably maybe he shouldn't. But he carries it off so well. So is the authoritative figure leading these young guys to this impossible task. Good movie. Everybody loves it. If you don't like Miracle, then there's probably something wrong with you. But Miracle, check it out. Worth a watch. Entertaining. What more can I say? I keep saying the same shit over and over again, but it's a good motion picture. Well worth a watch. Family flick. It's not like there's blood and gore and violence. Put in Miracle, watch Miracle, enjoy yourself. Oh, man, is this a fun one. 2007, playing Stuntman Mike in Death Proof, part of that Grindhouse series that Tarantino did. I loved him in this motion picture, man. He was awesome in this thing. He was creepy as all hell. He just looked all kinds of badass. And the character turn that his character makes at the end will leave you laughing so hard that you will probably piss your pants. I mean, it goes from one character to another within seconds, and you will die. He creeps you out. He builds you up. He terrifies you, and then he leaves you in hysterics laughing. It was brilliant. When he said he wanted to do this to Tarantino, Tarantino said, okay, just take it as far out as you want, I guess. And when he seen what Kurt Rusell did, he said he loved it. It was amazing. Stuntman Mike. Stuntman Mike. Stuntman Mike. What more can you say? 2015's The Hateful Eight. Another Tarantino flick. Good motion picture. Long motion picture. Is what it is. Come on, man. You got him, you got Samuel L. Jackson. The other shit's going to be good from top to bottom. It's a little bit long, it's a little bit drawn out, but it's a great motion picture. Watch it. That's all I got to say. Rounding up my last motion picture that Kurt Rusell was in, he wasn't really the star of this one. And I mean, he's been in other stuff, but don't get me wrong. But the last biggie was Deepwater Horizon. He's in there with Mark Wahlberg, but whatever. To me, the movie, I'm watching Kurt Rusell. I'm not really watching Mark Wahlberg. Sorry, Marky Mark, Whatever. To me, that motion picture was Kurt Rusell in an oil rig, and Marky Mark was just floating around in it. Good motion picture, kind of accurate motion picture, distorted ending motion picture that kind of was built somewhere around the truth a little bit motion picture. But still entertaining, still fun to watch, still worth checking out. Okay, everybody, that's my very long, very drawn out, very fast, if you can do a career like that fast, review of the motion pictures I think you should check out in the history of Kurt Rusell. One of the great comedic, dramatic, suspense, action, drama, horror actors of all times, bar none. His career probably didn't hit the levels that it should have, even though it's Kurt Rusell and we all think of him as, oh my God, you know, it's fucking Kurt Rusell. But he didn't have the iconic turn that some of the other guys have. I just don't think, you know what I mean? He was never where he could go in there and probably demand $30 million a movie. But when you come to honest, hard-working acting, and a guy that really knows how to deliver every single time they put him in front of the camera, Kurt Rusell. All right, people, check you soon. Catch you later. Does that even make sense? I don't know. This video's been so long, I'm getting dizzy. Anyway, see you later. Peace, love, take care of each other. Watch out for one another. Be good.